once again from downtown Halifax. Nearly a sunny evening. It's going to come soon. Welcome to another Wanderers Weekly, episode 13. With me, Dominik Diamonds, coming to you from the headquarters of the Wanderers. Yes! Come on! And joining us this week is the gaffer, Vanni Sartini. Vanni, nice to see you again, pal.
See you, Dom.
I'm good. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm very good, last results that weren't good, so, we are a little bit pissed, but at the same time we are here to work and optimistic to get better.
Yeah. Let's start with some positives, especially positives from the last game. You made Karim Sow the captain.
Yes.
Which I thought was brilliant for him. He's been at the club, only Rampy's been there for longer. So what was the thinking behind that then?
I think Karim is a natural leader. I think Karim is really a guy that can embody the principle of this club, of this team, the fact to put the team first, the fact to help the new guy, and he has this natural, I would say, calmness. Even when he plays, that he can be a good leader. And unfortunately, we have Thomas that is out for injury, and Rampy wasn't playing. So it seemed natural to me to give him the captaincy. The other two or three candidates could have been probably Ryan Telfer.
Yep, who's wore the armband before.
Marco Carducci, that is a real leader, but it's just arrived. So I wanted to give him, to give Karim, like we say, a reward. And I think that during the season we will do. I don't want to say a rotating thing, but we'll see more players having the captaincy, because I think, that being said, Andre Rampersad is the captain. When he's on the field, we'll have it. But if he's not on the field, I would love to, I would say, give the reward to the different leadership personalities that we have in the club.
Yeah. What is the latest with TMG in terms of his fitness?
So unfortunately he has this problem on the knee, and he will have to do this little intervention, this little surgery. Okay. He will. We will know how long he will have to stay out. There's a best case scenario that is a few weeks. Mm-hmm. So I would say I would see him, if it's the best case scenarios, to be back probably after the summer break. Right. And then also there's we never know. So being optimistic, we will see how the doctor will tell us. And of course it's kind of a heartbreaking every time when you see a player and then you get injured, because this is our profession, but it's also our passion. That you don't want to be on the box. You want to help the team, especially a guy like Thomas that with so much experience can help the team. But it is what it is. Those things happen.
But when one door closes, another one opens, and one of the other great positives of the game was a debut for Elan Ahmed. 17 years old. And I remember when I saw him in the pre-season game, I thought he was in his mid-20s. I thought he was a very experienced-looking defender for someone so young. So how did he come across your radar? What's the story?
So it was like during the off-season, there's a lot of this kind of showcase, where you have a lot of these players that play in different academies, that you have a mini tournament, and in one of these mini tournaments, our academy went to play. Our U18 teams, they were in Montreal actually, and the staff that was there, Jed Davis, the head coach, Alex Shepard, the analyst, came back and say all the other team, the guy that looked the best was this guy, this kid from Edmonton, this center back, he's 17 years old, he's a good player. So we invited him for a trial. We invited him for a trial in preseason, and he showed immediately that he's a good player, and so we said, okay, this is a very good prospect for the future. And so that's the reason why we put him under contract. And as we said, he's 17 years old, so it's not that we're going to put him in the fire like this, but we're building him up. And of course, as you said, with the fact that Thomas for a few weeks won't be here, for sure he will have more opportunity. And so far he did very well. Okay, last game he came on when the game was kind of over. I was very happy to give him his debut, but in the 15 minutes that he played, he was he played with no fear, playing in the middle of the back three, and it was very good.
Yeah, and that's what I was impressed with him in the pre-season game, is that, especially for someone so young, he didn't look hurried.
No.
On the remarkable composure.
Yeah, he's very calm and composed on the ball. He has a very good technique. I think that it's that's one of his strengths. The other strength is, like, even if he's remarkably tall, it's fast. It's not a guy that is heavy when he moves or whatever. Of course, he's 17 years old, so what does it mean? Sometimes he makes mistakes and he overthinks about the next time. But that's all the thing that we're trying to teach him, to improve him as a even 1v1 defender. So that's I would say he will be an asset for sure for the future of this club.
Talking about composure, I was very impressed with Karim in the post-match presser with you. Again, Karim's a young guy still, and that was his first game as a skipper. It wasn't a great result, and I thought he held his head high, and he also took a lot of responsibility. I thought it was incredible where he said if he felt you were protecting the players too much, he said, and there was things that we did, he said, that were the second and third goals were disgraceful, and he said we did too many short goal kicks, and I liked his accountability already. It
is like, I like the fact that he really understands what we're trying to do. And the second thing is that, but at the same time, I don't think I was being overprotective in the sense that at the end, when we're not performing well, and last game we didn't perform well, I feel that you need to take responsibility from the head of the organization, I would say, or something, because I always say that if the players are not performing like we expect them to perform, at the end, maybe there was something more that could have been done in training, or maybe we asked something to them that were not able to do it because nobody makes a bad performance to make a bad performance, and so I need to take responsibility first if I want the players to take responsibility too.
Yeah. So as well as Elan, you've given Tavio his first start here, award you with a goal. Yeah. So is this very much the Wanderers team under you? Is it if you're good enough, you're old enough?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So there was two things in the first 6 games that there were two things to do. One is this: I want to create this culture. If you show me that you can play and you deserve to play, I think that I want you to have the chance. Mm-hmm. It's not set in stone that you need to wait a year to play or whatever. That's the first thing. And the other thing so coming in a new club like I came with, 50% of the players were also new to the team. Playing in a league where I've never coached before, I wanted to give myself the possibility to see a lot of players starting, a lot of players starting to see them, because of course you can see them in training a lot, but the real response are in the game. And I think we started 18 different players.
Yeah. I think it's basically, I think everyone's had minutes apart from Harvey's the only out here.
Harvey, minutes everybody, but 18 out of 22, they got a start.
Yeah.
And so I hope that, I think we have found a way, even in the hard way, I would say, to understand which is, in my opinion, the best team possible and the best structure of the team possible. And maybe we lost a couple of points in the first game because of that, because we changed too much. Mm-hmm. But I think this foundation is going to give us a boost for when the when the points are going to count even more.
Yeah, and it's not just Elan and Tavio. Other young players, Sippy's young, Victor Akinwale, Finn, Lucas, Francesco. So that's 7 players playing in the CPL for 21-ish or under. Are you bringing them in for a 2 or 3 year project rather than to win it this season?
It's both. We want to try to win this season. Again, it's gonna be hard. We were joking before we started the recording that we have powerhouses in this league like Forge and Cavalry that are very hard to reach. But the good thing in this league is that that is a playoff league. That if you arrive third, you can win the league.
Yeah.
So that's no, that's true.
Yeah.
That's
Canada. Finish fifth, and you can still win the whole thing.
Well, not this year. You got to finish fourth. Yeah. So it's something that is doing both. We're trying to have the team of the Wanderers not only for 2026 but also about 27 and 28. And at the same time, we try to give them minutes because the roster is not 30 players. The roster, because of the rule of the salary cap or whatever, it's like 21, 22 players. So you will need everybody at some point. And when this game will be probably the game that we're going or not to the playoff, or maybe a game that in the playoff that you will need them, it's much better to have guys that already experience minutes at the first team that just throw them in the game.
Yeah. And do you have any idea going forward, so you're still going to carry on with trying to give as many players as many minutes as possible? Or in your head, do you have a sense of your starting 11?
I think I have a sense now of the way that we want to play. Okay. That is kind of, and you need to learn it, because I said a couple times already that this is not Vanni Sartini Football Club, it's the Halifax Wanderers Football Club. So we need to, I realized that we wanted to play a certain kind of style in the midfield, very mobile, running, blah, blah, blah. While we realized maybe we have players that are more suited to control the game and try to play the game, like Sven Sittman, Lorenzo Calegari. And in terms of players, I think at the moment, I think I have 7-8 guys that for me make the I want to say the super starters, but the guy that I think that probably they will play more, and then 2-3 spots that are still up for grabs.
Yeah. So we also asked the fans, to submit their questions as well. Sure. And one question was, are we too young and inexperienced as a team just now? Is this a problem?
No, it's not a problem, but it's just a fact. It's the fact that I'm just giving you an example. Yeah. So last game, the cup game that we played in Hamilton, we have 45 minutes, I would say, good. I don't want to do a polemic, because on the penalty that our goalkeeper saved, I don't think he's not even a corner kick, blah blah blah. But we play well against Forge. We're there, blah blah blah, and we're having an even game. We're building up. We're arriving in the final third. We're not creating too much in the final third. That, by the way, it's the issue that we're working on at the moment. And then they score worldly, Tristan Borg scored a goal that, what you have to do. You just head off, and bravo Tristan, you scored a fantastic goal. The fact of being inexperienced, the fact of being not probably mentally tough at this moment like we should be as a team, create a little bit of a collapse, and we conceded, and we lost the game, conceding the second goal and then the third goal. Yeah. For that moment, we are a little bit too young. But at the same time, I believe that for some other thing, it's not a matter of age. It's more a matter of quality, and let's try to put the best quality of the team on the pitch.
Yeah. Karim had said this as well in the post presser, that and we're conceding a lot of goals from basic mistakes.
Yes.
Right. We're not tracking players making runs. We're not winning balls in the air. What is that down to? Because this is your entry level football stuff.
Yeah. But it's again, it's what I said before. We started the season in a very solid way. Okay, we got a win in Vancouver when we had to suffer a lot. Yeah. We play well in Toronto, and then we come back twice. We dominate the game here against Pacific, and then we make that silly mistake at the end, and we concede a goal. I think that that moment has been a little bit of the thing, boom, okay, and we actually haven't reacted well from that game. Right. I think that we haven't reacted well, and now every time that some difficulty went against us, we've been a little bit on a down. I give you an example. In Montreal, we're doing a good game, 1-1. We score a goal. they give us the goal for the 2-1, then with the VAR, what's it called? FVS.
Yeah.
Okay, they say that it was like millimeter offside, so it's offside. And we weren't able to say, okay, who cares? Let's play. You got it. Yeah, we were down. So against Forge, this thing get a little bit even on the next level, because it was honestly the first team that was better than us.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in terms of quality, in terms of, you know, and so my task has been this week to say, guys, we need to restore that kind of confidence, that allow you to get back on a game in Toronto and tie. After a first half and half, dominate the second half, you could have scored 4 goals against Pacific. We need to restore that kind of confidence, because, you know, moment where the other team is going to be better, that's always going to happen in the game. And yet I think that it needs to be done in 2 ways. The first way is to help the player, say, hey, okay, there's no problem, everybody can make mistakes there. But the second thing is to be very accountable on the mistakes. You know, to be very honest with each other. If you don't make the run, I have to tell you, why didn't you make the run? And maybe next game you don't play because of that. You got it? And or if you are not properly positioned, I have to tell you that we're not properly. And so we are trying to be as open and honest as we can with each other, but at the same time, not pointing fingers and say it's your fault, because what we need is to get out of this situation that is not, you know, with the result today, winning Sunday would put us back in the 3rd place. So that's okay. Yeah. But we don't have to, I would say, make the situation that is like this a bigger problem, because then it would be harder to come back.
Yeah, I know it's good. That was another thing I noticed you said in the presser after the game against Forge, that you were going to make players feel more accountable. Yeah. But is that the hardest thing as a coach then, that when you know, listen, everybody knows, we've got some great players, right? We have terrific players, they've got great skill, they've got great touch, they've got great football and brains, but when it just seems to be just that mental kind of thing, that confidence thing, is that the hardest part?
It is the hardest part, because it's not something that you switch, it's not something like hey, I didn't get when I have to do this movement, or in this situation, do you want me to pass the ball or you shoot the ball? Yeah. Those are the hardest things. Yeah. Those are the easiest things. So, you know, it's like those are the easy fix. The easy fix is understanding why a player on the first 5 corners does it perfectly, and the 6th one he completely forgets what he do. So that's a thing like that we need to, you know, be able to analyze with the player and being helpful to him, to tell him every time. I say to the guys every time, when things are not going well, we need to focus on the basics. Yeah. When things are not going well, because what is the biggest mistake that you do? Oh, well, they consider a goal, I need to do a crazy thing in order to... No, it's the other way around. Do the basic. Because do the basics first. What does it mean? We're doing well, we re-enter the game, and when we add to that level of confidence, then I can try something more. Yeah. Because that's the only way for us to respond when the situation asks us to respond.
Yeah. This is a question from the Down the Pub podcast, guys.
Yeah.
What are we trying to do from a wing-back point of view? We started the first couple of games with inverted wing-backs, and then Marcus and that have switched, so Marcus has gone from the left to the right.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So that's one of the things that I said, like, I think we need to do it in a different way. The original idea was to play with inverted wing-backs, and to guys that were able to bring the ball forward and because the original idea was to play with a midfielder, not too much of giving the ball in the middle, but to run with a lot of running midfielders. Right. Yeah. And the ball there, and with them running, creating space with inverted full wingback getting inside. Then it happened the game against Pacific, where the first half wasn't going like we did. We switched, and I put the wingback on Godinho on the right and Telfer on the left in that game and we had probably the best 45 minutes of the year. 100%. Yeah, you know, a lot with the pairing of the wingbacks and the number 8 on the side of the ball. So we decided, okay, probably that's the way where the players, they feel more comfortable, and let's keep it like this. So at the moment, we will go for a way that I think in the future can be both. But at the moment, I think that you can expect us to go with wing-back on the same side. That it's not the same if you're talking about advanced player. If one game we play with wingers, for example, maybe we can have them with on inverted foot.
Yeah, because I guess that what you're really looking for from an inverted wing backs is that then your left back and right back, your wing backs are going to cut inside. They're going to be taking shots on goal.
Shots, or maybe playing that penetrative pass or whatever. Yes,
Because I mean, we saw it happen in the pre-season. But I guess the problem is then if we're not having that system, where are we going to get those other shots and passes? Because I think there's only been one goal in the last few games that's come from open play.
Yeah. That's
a challenge.
I think that the challenge, to be honest, is not the build-up, because I think the build-up is doing well. I think when we have the ball in our half, then we bring the ball in the opposite half. The problem is that, to be honest, the final third has never, it hasn't worked like we thought it was going to work, so we tried different, formation, like the two strikers, one strikers and 110, 210 and a striker. We need to be better. We need to be better in, when we bring the ball there, to be more intentional and to attack the space more in behind. I think that we are still lacking this classic running behind. We have a lot of run on the perimeter. We need to be more vertical, to be honest. And that's what we're working at the moment.
Will you be looking to bring in more players to help with that?
That is going to be that's always the case, in the sense that we're always looking to ways to improve the team, they're always an eye on both internally on the league, if there's some occasion, and even outside. Every time that we have like some possibility to look at players, we're there and we're creating our database and everything. Again, we're playing in a league that has a million constraints with in terms of numbers of foreigners, in terms of salary cap and whatever. So we need to be sure of a player when we're going to bring it in, but for sure we're looking at it.
Has it surprised you, the quality of opposition in the Canadian Premier League?
No, I knew that they were going to be good. Gotta be honest, Forge surprised me.
Yeah.
I knew they were good. I think they're very good.
Yeah.
I think I said it like I thought we had the worst possible draw in the Canadian Championship. Yeah. Because for me, Forge now, I don't think they're worse than CF Montreal or TFC.
No,
I gotta be honest. And I think they're an extremely good team, and you've seen it today. Because we lost 3-1 at home. In 6 games, we are the only team who scored against them.
That's a good point.
We're the only team who scored against them. Yeah, they're dominating the league, to be honest. Yeah. And even with cover, they tied with Cavalry, but they dominated the game until they stayed in 10 minutes. So, but again, that doesn't mean that this is the truth forever. Forge now is, I would say, ahead of us in terms of quality of the game, and it's our task. It's the beauty, to be honest. It's the hardest part, but also it's the beauty of this job, to try to improve your team and be better and fight for those positions.
Yeah. And I suppose when people are saying, "Oh, but we're only scoring penalties. We're not scoring from open play," but you only get awarded a penalty because you're in their box and you're creating those chances as well.
There's two things to say. One is that, the penalty that we scored in Montreal. We scored the penalty, but if they don't do the handball there, we scored. It was actually a very beautiful action, and then a cross, and then everything the penalty that we scored against Forge. Maybe if they don't put Tavio down, Tavio shot, and he has the penalty are there to be, I would say, awarded. And even if I would say the the goal that we score on corner kicks or whatever, you need to get a corner kick in order to score a goal. Even the first two goals that Forge scored last game against us, they were like on a free kick and a corner. So that's the thing. We actually need to be better at defending set plays, to be honest. And it's again the mental part.
Talking about penalties, that's been a great positive of this season, that we have an established penalty taker now in Izzy Johnson. How did that come about? Was that before the season you decided he was going to take?
No, we knew before the season that we had 2-3 guys that could be the penalty taker. And so I remember in the first game against Pacific, when he took his first penalty, he was between him and Ryan Telfer, and he decided to take. He scored. And so, that's an unwritten rule in soccer, that until he scores, we don't change.
Because the reason I was wondering about that was that when we had Izzy on Wanderers Weekly, and I said to him, I guess the one thing that you want to build on from last season is the number of goals. And he's like, and I made a bet with him, because he likes his expensive cologne, right? And I said, okay, I will make a deal. I said, if you score 10 goals this season, I will buy you whatever. He said he wants Louis Vuitton.
If he arrives at 9 goals, I'm going to take him off on pants. That's my promise for you.
But I wondered. I thought, Izzy, did you know when you made that bet with me you were going to be taking the penalties?
And also, he scored a goal in Montreal.
That's right.
Was taken
I know. That's what I nearly
just. It would have been a 4.
I thought I was going to be paying out before the World Cup. But that must be a positive. And Izzy's already having a breakout season. That must be a great positive.
The good thing about Izzy, I think that we found a way to. He has very good quality close to the box, and actually is one of the few guys that has been, I would say, very dangerous for us in the box. And I think that the difference between what he was used to play even in the previous season, or even when he was here, that we're starting him playing like 10-15 meters higher on the pitch, he's responding very well. He scored already 3 goals. He served an assist. The penalty that the penalty that we had in Montreal come out from a play that he did on the right side. He scored a goal that then he was took off. I think again, it doesn't need to drift away from what are his strengths. His strengths are the one that he needs to be vertical and attacking the space. If he thinks to be a classic 10, he's not a classic 10. He's a 10 that can be a 10, but an 8-10. Attacking the space and be there in that position. So we need to rely on his strength, and he needs to rely on his strength.
Do we almost have too much versatility in players? Like in that midfield, when you've got players who can play, a 6 and 8 or even a 10, is that always the problem?
It's not a problem, but for sure it's been the way that I think we didn't set for a, I would say, structured way of playing or a constant way of playing from the start. It's because of that, because every time you wonder, maybe it's better if I put them in a diamond, maybe it's better if I put them in a box, maybe it's better with 2 6s or 1 6, because every player Lorenzo is probably the more classical 6, but he can play as an 8. Sven can play 6, 8 and 10, to be honest. We have Ryan Telfer can play every position on the pitch basically, and we will use these guys, but I reckon the fact that we need to have a more, I would say, constant, at least structured, in order to give us the security that we need when we play.
This is another question from the fans. We looked a small team against Forge, especially at home. Are we getting bullied physically by other teams, and how do we counter that?
I think it happened only against Forge, because Forge is a really big team and a strong team. We are not the biggest team in the world. We are not the biggest team in the world, especially if a couple of players are not on the pitch, if Rampi, Telfer are not on the pitch, it's like they help a lot with size. But that is something that we need to work on. We talk about this attitude that we have to have on, especially on set plays. This attitude, like a little bit of a son of a beep, because we need to be able, because most of the time it's not your sides per se, but it's how you move your body and how, I would say, hard you are. And so again, we did it perfectly in all the games in preseason, in Vancouver, in Toronto, like dominating the set plays in those couple of games. I think we should start with that conviction in order to do it again.
Here's another question. I was thinking this as well, actually, is that as someone who's a renowned academic thinker of the game as well and loves the tactical side and everything, when you're playing a team like Forge or like Supra, are you setting up our team to counter how you think they're going to play, or are you saying no, this is the way we are going to play? And are you, I would say, ways maybe over
both ways, but you always think your team first,
right?
And you try to set up your team for success. But there are some things that you need to, like, for example, against Supra, I was a little bit pissed at the end of the game because we were done very good for a certain part of the game, and then we went away of the plan that because of the field, because of the team, we had to play a little bit more direct, and we didn't do it. And we helped them with killing us in transition. That was a specific plan for that game. But not to completely change our principle. Our principle was staying the same. It was just saying, hey, when you have two choices, go more time for the direct one instead of for the short one, because that's this kind of the game. And that was the same against Forge. The problem when this thing doesn't work, it's like to always trying to have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. And that's what we did, for example, with that can be moving the players, that can be replacing some players, or changing the system. Changing the principle is not possible, because the principle is that's what you work every week, and so it's not you're not gonna change the idea of of playing in a certain way. But if you just move some players around during the field, you can create some probably areas overloads that there weren't before, and you try to do better.
You said after the Super game that the players were supposed to be playing more direct in that first half, and they weren't. So why weren't they then? Is it because they lose a bit of confidence on the pitch?
No, I think it was like because it was like when you don't find the space and then you try to revert to things that the game is it's hard to play, because it's not a chess game when I play a move and you play a move. Everything happens simultaneously. So when everything happens simultaneously, if the space that even we identified is there, but you control the ball too long, or you make some individual mistake and the space is not going to be there, and or maybe you make a mistake in doing the thing that we were saying before, and now in your head you think that you have to do something different. That's the part when again you should go as a player to the next level and say, no, boom, let make me remember which is the plan of the game and do it. And as a coach, the plan where if you don't see the team doing a thing, let's try to remind them how to do it and play in a different way.
What was that atmosphere like in Quebec? Watching it on the TV, nice. It sounded terrific. So was that an intimidating atmosphere?
It wasn't intimidating, but of course it played a part, like for that team, like the fans here play a part for our team. It was actually a really nice atmosphere. I don't know how it is because we played in a kind of provisional stadium. That is not their stadium where we'll go the next time.
And those horrible markings on the.
No, there was like disaster, to be honest.
That's just awful.
That was like disaster. But I think they set up a good product, and it's an interesting take also on all the players from the same region. So we'll see.
Talking about the Super game, this is one of the positives that I've been impressed. I love how you're doing pressers and post-match things in different languages.
Yes.
I think I've seen you do 4. I think I've seen you answer questions in French, in Italian, in English, and in Spanish.
Yes. Spanish I'm actually very fluent. So that's like in English. French, I just learned French this year. I started last year, so they asked me. I say we're in Quebec, so that's.
I know, and I love that you said that back to them, because even I understood that bit in French. And I was like, good for you. I said that's really cool. What's your favourite language other than Italian to speak in?
Well, English and Spanish now I can speak with thinking in English and thinking in Spanish. It's very easy. French, I'm still not at that level. I need a little bit to, digest and then go. I can say that the one that I have not the occasion to speak enough, that I put a lot of effort in the last 4 years when I was in Vancouver, because I learned Japanese. I speak quite a good Japanese, but I never had the possibility to speak Japanese. So if there's some Japanese friend in Halifax that wants to practice with me, I will be happy to do it.
That's brilliant. Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. Okay, so what for you have been the positives of this season for you? Is there anything like you've been surprised at that's been better than you thought? What's the
positive of this season? 2 things. The atmosphere in the team. I like the atmosphere in the team. I like the guys that want to go and doing it. And I think we are really seeding something important for the future, and I really like it. Another thing that I like is the atmosphere at the grounds. Always was talking about this, and especially the first game. We played only 2 games at the grounds, but the first game where being down, we went up, and it's not by accident that we scored the 2 goals when we were into the kitchen, because you have the people that brings you that energy, and I really like the fact that the grounds maybe it's like 6,000-7,000 people. It looks like. I don't want to be like, I'm the big guy, but I played it sometimes for 30,000-40,000 people, and there was like the same kind of excitement with only 6,000-7,000 people. So it was really good. The other thing that I like, and I don't know if you are like, I really like the FVS. I really like the FVS. I think is much better than the VAR.
You've been very good with your challenges on that as well. You've been smart with that. I think what we like as fans is it's so much quicker.
It's quicker
than VAR
for me, and what I like, it's like there's 2 things. First, there's not an external guy away that is going to tell the referee, hey, he's like this, and then there's a debate. And so I think that the referee has much more accountability and ownership of the decision every time. And this challenge system, the fact that it doesn't have any decision to be monitored, the challenge system allows one to be much speed much faster, because there's not like 27 interruption, but the maximum 4 interruption. And the other thing is that I think it makes the atmosphere on the bench calmer, because at the end you ask, and then if they say no, I watched it, it's not a penalty, you ask for a penalty, or it's not a red card, okay, I'm at peace. While if it's a VAR thing where I don't know the process, I don't know what they're thinking, I'm still thinking they're gonna try to screw me. That's the thing. And so that's what I really like.
Vanni Sartini at peace with referees. That's great. Who would have thought it?
It's true. But that's even though we had like some we paid some little mistake, in my opinion. Give you an example. There's a clear foul in our favor right before the ball goes wide for a throw-in for Supra, and then Supra they take the throw-in. But that's what you can say. That you cannot challenge, because it's a new. That's right. So whatever. But probably the other team can say the same about us.
Two final questions. One, is there anything special planned for the World Cup break by the club? Do you know anything about that? Is there
not yet. Okay. Not yet. I know that it's going to be like a big thing here in Halifax, like, for watching games and whatever. My interest in the World Cup went a little down in the last couple of months.
I tell you though, it's still costing fans. I got an email the other day that I was allowed to go in the draw. They're still charging like $1,500 for that opening game against Bosnia.
Yeah, it's still Canada, so people goes there to watch Canada.
That's a terrible price for the tickets.
No, that's another thing that a lot of this. Well, I think it's a shame.
Yeah. I
think it's a shame. It's an exploitation. I think FIFA is behaving badly. Yeah. To be honest, it's not. The World Cup should be a joy for, it's every 4 years, and every 4 years in a different part of the world, okay? So we are having the World Cup here in Canada, now that it's 2026, I don't know, maybe it's gonna be there here in 2070, or something like this, and there's people that will never have the chance to see the World Cup again. And the fact that to watch every game, you gotta spend it $500, $600, $1,000, $2,000, I think it doesn't make any sense when FIFA already makes billions of dollars through the TV rights. Yeah. So that's my take on it.
Yeah. And my final question, talking about rich people doing bad things, are you still anti-Batman?
I will always be anti-Batman. I will always be anti-Batman because I don't know, because again, I still on my stance that is a guy who doesn't respect due process and is just a spoiled capitalist and blah blah blah. But I want to say, if you want to put out this bad signal and help us in the next couple of games to make some goals, Batman, I can redeem myself to your eyes. I hope you're gonna help us.
Listen, Vanni, can I thank you so much for doing this? The whole point of the show was to get a bit of transparency and avenues of communication between the fans and the club, and you've been very, very transparent, and I've asked you a lot of challenging questions and you've answered them very openly and honestly, and a lot of most coaches wouldn't do that. So on behalf of all the fans, thank you very much.
No, thank you. And again, the fans needs to understand that, first of all, I'm always up to it, and I'm always, every time that, there's some explanation to do, either if we win or if we lose, we'll always be happy to do it, and because we owe it to the fans. The saddest part 2 weeks ago when at the end, who cares if we lost 3-1 to Forge? In a way, I cared because I see a lot of people that are coming here, that they spend, that they really support us, that we are a community together, and we need to give a better show to the people, and that's what we are committed to do. That's what we will be doing, and that's what we together we will achieve. I hope.
Awesome, terrific,
beautiful.
Vanni Sartini,
thank you.
All right, so 2 p.m. kickoff this Sunday for the lads, and I know that because I think that I'll just have got round the Blue Nose Marathon in that time. It starts at 8. That gives me 6 hours to get round so I can see the game. And then we're back at the Wanderers ground, not this weekend, but next weekend. But join me next Wednesday for another Wanderers Weekly. That noise that you might have heard, that's the chair. That's not me farting.
No,
very important to point that out. Yeah. Thanks, I'm Dominik.
I can vouch for that.
Thanks for watching. Cheers.